So, how is being a spy?
Russia is planning to cause significant loss of life.
The Russians are coming. The Russians are coming. Well, actually, they're already here. But now they're coming to network TV 2015 style. Debuting on NBC on February 5th, Allegiance brings the Cold War back to a very hot life. Unfortunately, it's with very awkward results. As a 6 years dormant Russian mole, played by the almost always great Hope Davis, and her Yankee businessman husband, played by Scott Cohen, are forced back into service, turning their unknowingly geeky genius CIA analyst son into an asset for the motherland.
Condensation on the regulator means that outside air was freely mixing with the oxygen being pumped into the furnace.
What are you, a thermochemist?
No.
Let's cut to the obvious chase here. In the case of Back to the Future, familiar to anyone who grew up before the Berlin Wall came down, the Russians are the new bad guys again. Now let's cut to the other obvious issue at hand here. NBC and the creators of Allegiance swear they are not a carbon copy of FX's The Americans. And they're right. And they're wrong. Wrong, because the basic premise of the two series are so much alike that comparisons are more than fair. Although Allegiance takes place in the post-9/11 world of 2015, and The Americans takes place in the Reagan-era 80s. Now look, Allegiance is far from the first show to resemble another. I mean, it's based on an Israeli format in the first place. And we all know also that sitcoms as a genre are based in part on their similarity to each other. So it's not the most original approach, but it's no sin. What is a sin, or at least a burden in my opinion, is the ways The Americans and Allegiance are different. Having just started its third season, the former, which is one of the best shows on TV, I think, is a textured, nuanced, and challenging show that spins around history and the major and minor players in it. The latter? Well, I'll give you this. Allegiance is certainly slick, and with the recent arrest of a Russian spy ring in New York, and, unfortunately, a burning opening, it seems rather timely. The show also tries to throw in a dollop of Showtime's Homeland in there as well, and so it kind of whips along. But so much of that speed is just smoke. Standard network drama, with even a New York City car chase that anyone who's ever lived in the Big Apple would find more than incredulous. Well, more than incredulous, I guess, besides anything else about Allegiance. Yeah, the Russians are coming, but I say stick with the ones who are here first. They knew what they were doing. I'm Dominic Patten for Deadline Hollywood.